So has everybody managed to get a decent sleep last night? Woke up this morning feeling pretty positive about that transfer window.
Celtic! We are the best team in Glasgow! And we call it always Europe!
What's happening, Celtic family? Hope you're all doing well out there. Do us a big massive favour, will you? And smash that subscribe button. Give us a wee thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. So we wake up this Tuesday morning after the transfer window, and it is hard not to feel a bit deflated, frustrated, angry at the business that we've done through this window. Trying to look at the positives of it, we did sign Jeffrey Schlopp, who, let's be honest, it is a great signing. It is a really good signing to come in there at left back. I presume that's where we're going to play him. Although there is talk about he can play various different roles, and we'll get into that. But he is a good appointment. As I said in my previous video yesterday, I haven't watched much of him at Crystal Palace. I did see him when he was at Leicester. I know that was a few years back now, but he was a good player, and he comes with a lot of experience that will help the team drive forward to the end of the season, which is great. Listen, and it sounds like Jeffrey Schlopp is more than happy to be there. He's came out with a statement. Let me read it to you here. I'm really happy to join Celtic, such a massive and iconic name in football. I've spoken to Brendan. I am really looking forward to working with him and the lads in the squad as we aim to bring more silverware to our supporters. The team has already done brilliantly this season, both domestically and in Europe, and I know I'm joining a really successful team, but I want to add to this, to play my own part and help us achieve even more. I can't wait to get started, to pull on those famous green and white hoops, meet the fans and give everything I have to bring us more good times. Listen, it is a good bit of business. That is a good bit of business to have Jeffrey Schlopp in there. As I said, a guy that comes with so much experience can definitely help drive the team forward to the end of the season. And we know, I think he's actually out of contract at the end of the season. So what happens there? Can Celtic potentially buy him if he comes in here and does a good job? Because we know that he can play in various positions. It was the Clinton Morrison yesterday who was talking about on Sky Sports News. I was watching that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you were watching that as the clock was running down on the transfer window. And Clinton Morrison was going on about how well he knows him, how much it is a great signing for Celtic because he can play in these various roles. He prefers to play in the left side of midfield, which is good to know, but it's not somewhere that we really need to strengthen right now. We all knew coming into this that we needed to strengthen the left back area, and we 100% needed to get a striker. Now, Jeffrey Schlopp has come in there, and I'm assuming that that is the role of left back that he's gonna take on. But if we need to use him in another position where he can play the left side of midfield and even potentially a striker, then we can do that. But I think that's where the board, for me, have got completely and utterly complacent on it. That they think that it's acceptable that they can bring in a left back who can also play midfield or he can play up front. But for me, as a supporter, I am absolutely flabbergasted why Celtic would think that that is a good option and why Celtic think for 1 minute that it's okay to sell Kyogo, who is your best striker, and a lot of people saying the best striker, the best forward that we've had since Henrik Larsson. Listen, not a patch on Henrik, let's just get that right, but I understand what they're saying, that he scored a lot of goals and he's brought a lot of hype like Henrik Larsson did. So to be able to sell Kyogo, now it doesn't make any sense. If we didn't think it made any sense when it happened, it 100% doesn't make any sense whatsoever now. The fact that you've sold your best striker, you've let him go, and you've not taken anyone else in. I think somebody needs to try and explain the rationale behind what the board are thinking there, because it's not Brendan Rodgers doing. Brendan Rodgers has came out, and he even came out as quick as Sunday there to say that yes, Daising Maeda can play through the middle, but we're looking for a striker. We need a striker in there. So anybody who's got any ill feeling towards Brendan Rodgers for anything that he done in the past, first of all, we need to let that go. But you need to understand, and he's obviously came out and said, and he said that for a reason, that we need a striker. I don't know if he's known that we're possibly not going to get a striker, so I'm not letting this fall on my head. So I'm going to tell everybody now that we 100% need a striker. But it is absolute common sense. If you've let Kyogo go, who is your top goal scorer, you've let him go, you have to then replace that. And we've not done that in this window. We have not done that. As much as Slop is a great signing, and he is, let's not get that twisted, and don't let anybody tell you that he's not. That is a great bit of business. What's not a great bit of business is that Celtic have been so complacent. They have let Kyogo go, who scores the most goals for us, who has a massive impact in that squad. They have let him go, and they have not replaced him. What a terrible, terrible bit of business. I'm a guy who has his own business. I run my own business, and if somebody came up to me and says, I want to leave, Mark, and if I was really, really busy at the time, I would say, right, well, you need to do your lying time before you go. You have to do your month's lying time. I wouldn't just let them go out the door, because I know I can't cope. I've got no one to replace them. And I'm on fucking a minor scale of what that club does with business. That is probably some of the worst bit of business. And if Kyogo is determined that he wants to leave, you tell him, no, Kyogo, you're not leaving, you're under contract with us, we pay your wages. So unless we can get someone in there to fill that position, you aren't going anywhere. It's as simple as that. I don't know why Celtic take this approach, because it's not a way to take an approach in business. You don't need to be an arsehole, but you have to stand your ground, or else you're going to get absolutely nowhere in business, and it's going to eat you up. And that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like in a Celtic part, that everybody else gets to dictate what they do, and Celtic just sit back. I don't know. I don't know what's went wrong. I'm pretty sure that Brendan Rodgers will not be happy, and I'm really, really interested to see what Brendan Rodgers has got to say about this in a press conference tonight. Now, Brendan, as we all know, came out with the whole, when everybody was singing about Kieran Tierney and then talked about Greg Taylor, you could tell he wasn't happy about that. And in that conversation says, I'm at a point in my career where I'll just come out and I will say how it is I feel. The best thing Brendan Rodgers can do in this press conference later tonight is be up front and honest with the support. Up front and honest. Everybody is getting absolutely sick of just not being told the truth. Now, I understand he's already said that he doesn't want to cause any confrontation, he doesn't want to fall out with anybody, but if sometimes telling the truth enables you to fall out with people, then that's what happens. That's what comes with it. Brendan Rodgers is the man at the front of this. He is the face of all this. So there is going to be a certain amount of supporters out there who blame Brendan Rodgers for this. But this isn't Brendan Rodgers doing. Brendan Rodgers knows fine well that if you're letting Kyogo go, you have to replace that. You have to replace that. And what the board has done, they've brought in Jeffrey Slop there, who can play left back, he can play in the middle, or he can play up front. So that should be enough for all supporters to be happy with. Well, we're not. We're not. And there's a lot of supporters out there. There's probably some out there who are quite happy with that transfer window, and that is absolutely fine. And I'm just on here giving my opinion, and it seems to be the same opinion as a lot of Celtic supporters when I go down and look on social media and the comments, and they're absolutely sick to the back teeth of the board being so complacent and having no drive to want us to sort of go forward. go forward and build this club into being more of a force in Europe where we compete. By that I mean where we can compete on a regular basis. But one of the main things that Brendan went on about and what they've obviously spoke about in their board meetings is making this team stronger. And if you think that we are stronger after that transfer window, then there's no hope for you, because that was an absolute shambles. It really was. So let's go back on the computer and let's have a look at what's came in and what's going out, and let's discuss it a wee bit further. So as you can see at the top there, we've taken in Jeffrey Schlupp, and as I said, it is a great appointment. So let's get into the negativity and how complacent that the board are. They actually got this one right. Right, they got this one right. This is a good signing for Celtic, and it is a good replacement. It is a good sort of short-term loan deal in there before Kieran Tierney comes back. And if Jeffrey Schlupp is available to buy, let's just see how he gets on first of all to the end of the season. But if it comes that Jeffrey Schlupp is available to buy, he is a guy that can play in different positions. So therefore, even though we have Kieran Tierney in there, you could play him somewhere else. And if Kieran Tierney needs to come out, you could put Jeffrey Schlupp in there at left back. So that is a good bit of business. And I'm happy to have Jeffrey Schlupp there. I really hope that he comes in there, he hits the ground running, and I hope that he gets a start on Wednesday, or not even a start. I hope that he just gets to come on and show the Celtic fans what it is that he has to offer. So we've got Jeffrey Schlupp in there. Going across to the right-hand side, we've got Lewis Palmer going to Olympiacos. Now, let's just be honest here. That had to be done. Lewis Palmer had to go. He was never going to cut it in a Celtic jersey. It just wasn't happening for him. He had enough time to come in there and really, really make his statement and impress the Celtic manager, the Celtic fan base, but he didn't do it. He just didn't. He had the odd occasional game when he first arrived at the club that was pass marks, and he played okay, but overall he had to go. And I think there's 98% of the Celtic support would agree with that. Going right again, we've got Jota. So everybody knows we brought Jota back, and that is another great bit of business. Great bit of business to put Kyogo out to Rennes, and we take Jota from Rennes. Brilliant, and we made a good bit of profit on him, as I've stated before, and how he went out for 20 odd million. We went away for like 18, 19 months, and then we managed to get him back for 10 million or so. Great bit of business. So good to have Jota back. He looks like he's just, as he keeps saying, back home. So great to have him back. I'm looking forward to seeing what Jota's going to do as he gets more fitter. Kyogo Furuhashi, we obviously know, left to Rennes. This is the massive talking point. Why you would let Kyogo go. As I've just stated before, that is bananas, absolute bonkers to let him go and not have a replacement for him. It is crazy. It is crazy. It is the worst bit of business I think I've seen by Celtic for a long time. That is the worst bit of business. They've done some horrendous business. They've obviously done some really good business. Let's just say that. I'm not totally and utterly trying to put the board down. They have done some really, really good business over the years, but we have also done some really horrendous business. And the fact that, again, take last night, leaving it till last minute to even get Jeffrey Schlupp through the door. But anyway, Kyogo has gone. He's went out the door. We do wish that we had kept him, but hey-ho, we hadn't. Alexandro Bernabe, 100% needed to leave the club. So there you go. You've got Lewis Palmer, definitely needed to go. Alexandro Bernabe needed to go as well. Just was not fitting in at the club. Again, maybe had one or two performances that I think maybe stand out, that he was pretty good, but 100% needed to leave. So therefore, no problems with that. Kasper Schmeichel renewed his contract for another year. It's amazing to see that Kasper is staying on. I think he's an absolute phenomenal goalkeeper. I really do. I think he's still world class. I think he is. And it's good to see that he's going to stay on another year. I think that will probably be it. He is getting a bit older now. But definitely was very, very happy to see that he had signed a renewal. Odenholm absolutely needed to go out the door. I will be completely honest, when Odenholm came in, I was quite excited by him. I thought that he looked like quite a good player. I think that he should have probably been given a wee bit more game time. But yeah, I'm not the manager. I'm not the backroom staff. I don't see what he does in training. So therefore, there had to be a reason that he just wasn't getting that game time. Although we do have very strong players in that position, that they are obviously going to be ahead of him. So the best bet for the club and for Odenholm himself was for him to move on. So 100% needed to go. Stephen Welsh, I like Stephen Welsh as a player. I do believe that putting him out on loan to Michelin is a great decision, because he needs to get some more game time, 100%, and I feel like he will come back stronger. We've seen it so many times with people going out on loan, and one of the bigger ones is Callum McGregor. He went out on loan and came back, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm not saying Stephen Welsh, that's what happens with him. You never know. Stephen Welsh might go there, and we might end up, that loan deal might end up, we might end up selling him, because we are pretty strong in that central defence kind of area at the minute, and it's very hard for Stephen Welsh to break into that team. But going out on loan, I think, is a great decision for him and for the club. Alistair Johnson, obviously, is just that he has renewed his contract until 2029. I'm made up with that. I'm pretty sure a lot of Celtic supporters will be made up with that. He's a great right-sided defender. And then with that, we've got Anthony Ralston in there who can come in and cover. So that, to me, the right-hand side with Anthony Ralston, as I said, I like Anthony Ralston. I am a big supporter of him. He's one of these guys that will run through a brick wall for Celtic. He does make mistakes at time. On Sunday, he was brilliant. So quite happy with that. So when you look at it, there's a lot of players there, 5 players out the door, but these are 5 players that probably had to go out the door. So with the 5 players out the door, you don't expect to have to buy another 5 players. I don't think anybody was expecting that. All we were expecting was the left back position to be strengthened, which, fair play to Celtic, they have done that by bringing in Jeffrey Slot. But 100% we need a striker. We need another striker, because Adam Ida is going to be up there by himself, and if he's out injured or anything happens to him, who do we put in? We need another striker in there. But the way that the board have seen it is that they'll just put Maeda in there. Maeda will do a job in there till the end of the season. That gives us time to then really look for another striker. Look for that striker that is going to replace Kyogo. Hopefully Adam Ida now comes to the fore and really starts pushing on. He's been getting better over the last few games. Hopefully he maybe starts pushing on. But whether he starts pushing on or not and becomes that talisman at the front there that Kyogo was, we still need somebody in there to replace him, because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of Celtic supporters prefer Maeda to be out on that left. We know that Maeda plays in the middle and plays as an out-and-out striker for Japan, and he scores a lot of goals, and he scores for us when he plays in that, and he makes a difference. I think you can play Maeda anywhere and he will make a difference to the squad, but we all prefer him out on that left-hand side. Obviously, we've got Jota in there now as well, and that's why I think the board has got complacent. But Jota is not match fit as of yet, and it's going to take probably months for him to be match fit. By the end of the season, we'll probably start seeing the Jota that we all know that and back to full fitness. But right now, he's not at that. But taking all that out of the equation, the fact that you have sold your best striker, you then have to replace that. And Celtic have not done it. And that's what makes it so disappointing, is the fact that they have known about Kyogo for absolute months. This is what Brendan Rodgers needs to explain on behalf of Paul Tisdale, the whole backroom staff. I mean, Paul Tisdale is a guy that came in there in October, right? As a head of football operations, that includes all the talent. And it's been an absolute shocker by him. It's been an absolute shocker by him. So, I don't know, but Brendan's obviously going to be that guy, the fall guy at the front who puts his face in front of the camera and is going to have to explain where it all went wrong. Because I believe that the fans 100% deserve an explanation. And if that has to come from Brendan, he has to be the fall guy for it, then I'm pretty sure that he knows that and that's part of his job. But there's no way that Brendan will be happy with what has happened in this transfer window, and he will know that the fans are not happy. You can't sell Kyogo and not get a replacement. It's as simple as that. It's baffling to me how this has happened. So anyway, guys, there's not much more to say about the situation. It's one of them ones that it's probably something that we're starting to get quite used to now, is that the transfer windows just seem to be an absolute shambles, especially in January and with letting things get down to the last sort of minute. I mean, I sat up past 11 o'clock last night, nearer to 12, thinking maybe we'll still get one over the line. Maybe there's still something to come out, because as I'm pretty sure most of you know, as long as you started the paperwork before 11 o'clock last night, then it can still be announced afterwards. And I was clinging on to the hope that that is what was going to happen, that we had actually got a forward just on a loan deal, because I just don't understand how they just can't get somebody in on a loan to fill that position and try and strengthen the numbers even a little bit. So I was sat up and I waited, and it became very evident that was it. We were going to sign Jeffrey Schlopp after all the talk of all different players, and then we signed Jeffrey Schlopp. And let me say again, Jeffrey Schlopp is a great appointment for Celtic. Great bit of business, that. Great bit of business. But in a whole, I'm kind of defeated by the utter complacency of the board. It's one of them ones. As long as the majority shareholders are alright, then fuck the rest of us. But listen, we've got a very busy week ahead of us as we take on Dundee. That was the game that was postponed. So we've got Dundee tomorrow night, Raith Rovers in the Cup on Saturday, and then we have got the big game against Bayern Munich next Wednesday. But listen, guys, that is it for what's happened this transfer window. As you can probably tell, or you've probably seen in social media, there's a lot of supporters out there who just aren't happy with the deals that have been done, or the lack of deals that have been done. But that's where we're at right now. We have to just kind of put this on the back burner as much as possible and keep sort of driving forward. But let me know in the comment section what you think to all this, guys. As I said, it's always good to hear your guys' opinions on it. Pop it down there on the bottom. I love to read it. Give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe out there, Celtic family. Hail, hail. Take it easy.